random places on the floor, on the desk, right? And we got into about 20 people's computers. That was a training exercise we did. Do not put foreign USBs or storage devices into your computer. I know. Curiosity kill a cat? No, curiosity, but to kill your whole computer system. Right? Right? What? No laughs, don't like my joke. I know you guys are muted. Okay, so any questions yet?
No, not yet.
Okay. So yeah, so the new incident is created, right? You're seeing a software program creates an incident, bing, pops up on your screen, and your line of tickets. Um, you will create the incident summary, right? That will be escalated. And most of the times, you're going to be the service manager also, right? A lot of times, it's going to be a project manager and you, especially if you're building a system from ground up, right? You're going to complete the incident details. You're going to provide a number of the ticket, and etc. And create a new ticket again, select category and priority. Because the ticket comes in simple, and as you're working on it, and when you select if it's high or not, the SOAR program does that too. It'll say, okay, this is a low incident, medium incident, high incident, because it knows from the playbooks, right? Like we talked about earlier, the playbooks, it runs it through everything already. It's all been compiled. Um, and you basically will go through it, and then you would go through your investigation. So it's kind of go hand in hand with the investigation of the incident. So one of the things you look at, right? How did they gain access, right? Was it a phishing? Was it an attachment? Was it a malware that was deployed or downloaded, right? All this again would be taken care of in SOAR. I'll show examples of that about at the end of this. Yeah, I have the laptop right here. Um, um, how did they enter? Was it from password guessing, threat, actor entry, right? Username, password compromise, system exposed, right? Was it outside facing? Or did it have didn't have enough controls to protect it? Like how exactly did they get in? Well, I need to charge up my laptop so I can go into here later. Yeah, a bunch of computers. Um, how to take control to affect other devices? What are they trying to go for botnet? Do they gain full access? Do they escalate them to administrative privileges? Right? Did they steal data? Did they destroy backups? Did they encrypt you and demand ransom? Right? All that. All that are part of the incident response. Analysis. Identifying the severity level. How bad is it? Are you screwed? Are they gonna fire you? Are you gonna be out of a job? Nah, that's not what you're analyzing. But it's gonna be in the back of your mind, right? If it's crazy, right? Something that you could have prevented because you're being lazy and not going through your due diligence and due process, right? So level one would be a compromising security. Minimal affecting utility, no critical information was accessed, predictable with existing resources, right? Level two, the systems are compromised. Utility can't provide business service to all users, right? So these are things, these are the processes that you go through. Right. With incident response, like I said, a lot of this is done automatically. The system can now predict these by itself, but you're running through this as you analyze, as an analyst, as a engineer, what is going on with this incident. That's what you're doing. And when I run through these tickets, I'm gonna give you a great example of that. just want to give you guys an overview and a breakdown of it. I'm gonna go through with you. You're gonna see. Okay, on-site solution, right? Data storage, application servers. It's the maintenance cost. Everything costs money. Everything costs money. That's our systems. That's why budgeting is so huge. As an engineer, as an architect in cybersecurity, you have to take care of it. Because let's say they have three. I worked for a company that had 2,500 workstations. That's workstations, not servers, just workstations, which is laptops and desktops. 2,500, right? Like they're saying, probably $300 to $500 they're paying. Monthly cost to maintain at $50, right? And a year, 600, right? You're spending close to $1 million. These projects are coming up to $1 million easy, and it doesn't include all the softwares, then the licenses. So that's what you're protecting when you're responding to an incident. The money. It's always about the money. Follow the money, right? Remediation. We all should know what remediation is. And now, so what's remediation if you're still there? Anybody? What's remediation? Well,
Remediation?
yeah.
Whoa. Well, I'm gonna read just from the list.
You should know though. You should know what it is.
Yeah. So it is security controls to reduce the risk of ransomware, impact categories for effectively handling cybersecurity incidents, addressing the roles and responsibilities of incident response team, checklist to ensure asset protection from internal threats.
Right.
Honestly, I have not heard or anything about remediation in my brain. There's nothing that says remediation, so that's why I got caught off guard.
Okay. Remediation is just dealing with the threat, with the incident. That's all it is.
Oh, so when the threat has already,
Well,
when
the
the
incident.
incident has already happened?
After you analyze it and went through everything else, like I just explained, now you're remediating it.
Oh, okay.
That's all. Just taking care of the incident, concluding where it is. If it's
Mhm.
something that needs to be dealt with or just closed out with a routine, you taking notes on it, you reporting it. Just concluding the threat.
Okay, okay.
That's
Okay,
all it
that makes
is. That's the word you want to use when you're in those interviews,
sense. Fluting.
right? So this is a little checklist I normally can handle the people. Let's skip over that. So incident response, um, adjusting the roles and responsibilities of incident response team, right? Incident first response cyber team, as a technical response team lead, cyber incident response manager, right? You analyze initial alerts, and you have to announce if there's a cyber incident. So that's a team you're a part of as the project manager, analyst, engineer. Steering committee, right? Is the people that you probably the clients or the middle person for the clients you're working for or the company that you're working for. Um, yeah, they have to evaluate and confirm the announcement of the incident. Let's say that you was attacked and they stole a bunch of credit card information. Communicate the incident to the C-suites and boards. Does anyone know what the C-suite is? Well, if you didn't know, the C-suite is C-level managers, CFO, CEO, CIO, right? Anyone at C-level is who the C-suite is. And when you are at a properly set up organization, the cybersecurity response team, including you, your direct contact most of the time, it should be, so there isn't any conflict of interest, C-level executives. Point blank in the story. Complete cyber incident response team, right? The legal counsel, public affairs, the people are going, because when you have big incidents, you have to report it to the news or report it to the FBI, CISA, the federal bureaus. It's pretty big of a certain amount of days that you have to make this report also. What we got now? Impact categories for effectively handling cybersecurity incidents, right? One, functional impact, no effect on the organization at all. Serviceability, it won't harm anything. Um, Organizations can still provide services but may have lost a bit of efficiency. That's low. Organization can only provide services to subset of system users. So it's getting bad. And high, organization can no longer provide services to any user, right? That's when it affects the functional systems. Information systems, no critical information is compromised, sensitive information employees, customers was accessed. It was a privacy breach, right? That's when the sensitive information was accessed. AT&T just reported having a privacy breach. I mean, I get this on my phone all the time. Oh, your password was compromised at this company. Crazy, right? Like, gosh, like who's watching these companies? Integrity loss. Sensitive information is deleted. That's a lot of hackers' goals sometimes if you don't want to meet their demands. And the proprietary breach, things that were secret to your company. I won't dive deep into any of these. These are all things for you to take notes and for you to look up and study. I'm not going to hold your hand on these little small topics. Recoverability impact, right? Regular recovery times, predictable, supplemental, extended, or when it's just not recoverable anymore, right? And that's bad. I mean, so there have been companies that have been totally shut down because of that. Can you guys hear me clearly? Am I clear? Am I good? Okay. So security controls, we talk about the same SOAR, QRadar, Splunk. They all do the same, right? They all analyze the threats, looking who's taking control, what devices are infected. It's all in your SOAR and your SIEM. I'm going to show you guys that. If you're not here for the class, um, then you're not going to see me because I'm going to stop the recording when I show this. Um, Table of contents for incident response playbook post incident. I said it's one of the most important parts of incident response. Post incident, right? Providing the information to management, to shareholders, to the C-level suite. So basically, you just have it all compiled. You took it from high level and brought down to mid level to make it more palatable for your clients, and you explain what's going on, what happened, how long it took. Take them through the whole process, how you mitigated, how you remediated it. Hopefully, that's what the meeting is, not how the company is screwed. Um, and yeah, and that's about it. And that's very important because these are the people that are paying you, and you want to assure them that you have them protected. Backup methods. Mr. Anaso, he wanted to know about the different backup methods. Here we are. So full data backup. Full data backup most likely happens on a weekly or monthly basis before any system upgrades, right? Before we patch any system, major systems, any major SCADA systems, major servers, always initiate a full backup. And sometimes it automatically happens by itself, weekly, monthly. When it comes to the storage of it, right? Data backups are stored within existing physical space, like a server or on the different server, or maybe a VM that you copy it all to. But the one of the concerns about this is that the data is vulnerable to ransom if the ransomware, if the hacker gets access to any system on the network. So your backup to be for naught. Differential. Differential data backup involves making a copy of data that has changed since the previous full backup, right? So I did a full backup, right? And then I make a copy of the system that I just updated. Let's say I put a new Windows patch on there. So you have Windows 1, Windows 2. Let's go with those numbers. Boom, I back up Windows 1, right? I back it up, then I update it. Now it's Windows 2. I take a copy of that of Windows 2. That's a differential backup. There's a difference between the two backups I have. That's what makes it differential. Get it? So you have the Windows 1 backup that I still have, and you have the Windows 2 backup that I now have. So you store them in separate physical locations away from the primary location. The major concern with this is that data is vulnerable to ransomware if the hacker gets, again, access to the system network. Incremental, right? Incremental data backup entails storing data that has changed since the previous full or differential backup. So basically, incremental, you have some systems that back up uh, basically once a week, every Friday. Take a snapshot. Every day takes a snapshot, depending on which system um, is going on. And when a new software was installed in the background or Adobe uh, updated, incremental, boom, it takes a snapshot. Oh, snapshot, snapshot, snapshot. Um, that way, if anything else happens, um, be able to revert back. So that happens. The snapshot normally goes to a cloud. Um, the major concern for incremental is that it's susceptible to cyber attack. I mean, hey, no brainer. It's all accessible to cyber attacks, right? So even an evaluation sheet has an evaluation sheet that I hand out to people for when talking about data backup activities. So databases, right? Backup testing frequency should all this is it should be. I mean, I can't tell you how many places don't have any of this in place. It's crazy. So databases 5 times in a month, 3 times in a month, right? For testing. NSA devices, and these are just fictional people that are people that work for my company that do it. Mac does the backups for this. System network files is bi-weekly, once a month with USB drive. Peter does it, right? You have separate roles, right? Segmentation of roles. And we talked about it before about how you have different roles, separation of duties, is what it's called. So if anyone ever became compromised, right? It isn't that person doesn't have per se the keys to the kingdom. Quarterly backups, right? With monthly backups. So all depending on the system, you have industry best policy recommendations, and these are them. So when you work from home, which a lot of us do now, I do a lot of the times. Sometimes I go in the office. Sometimes I work from home. Sometimes I go 3 days work from home. Sometimes I go in the office for twice a week, 2 days a week. It all depends. Depends on your job. Depends how flexible they are. Sometimes you get full time. Work from home jobs too. There's a lot of those, but it's the competition is thick. The competition is thick. Configure Wi-Fi encryption. Configure the network connection actually by enforcing a strong password. If you work from home, that's what you should do. Use company provided means of communication. Most times, companies will give you a laptop. Avoid using external devices. Yep. Treat it like you're working in the office because you are working in the office. You're just working from home in your office. Do not put a foreign storage device in your computer. Stay up with system updates. Hopefully, your company just forces them. They force them to me. Um, so I left those two blanks. I want to know what other two things you think people that work from home, what do you think they should do? But I'll tell you, the same way at your job that you have to keep your computer locked, same thing at home, right? You would hate to have a situation where if you have children, they left it open and they're on there just typing, deleting files. Now all the good work you had in there is gone. Files might be corrupted. Just never know. Some might go there and stick a USB. You know, it's just so many things that can happen. Keep it locked. Another best practice is to have privacy screening on over your screen if you're the person that likes to go to a coffee shop or the library and work. Some people they work from home, but they'll go work out in public, right? There's different recommendations. Look it up, Google it, use ChatGPT, best work from home security practices. So we all know about cyber security awareness training programs, communication plan for effective incident management, incident on your dashboard. We've done it. We've seen it a million times. I don't have to go over it again. If you want to, you can take a look at it on your own time. We're coming up on the hour. Um, I'm thinking about taking a 5 minute break. And then I will go into and show you guys live some